Taping. Hi guys, it's me, your friendly local yoga teacher. um, Welcome to episode 34 of Virtual Global Freakin Pandemic Yoga. It's a gorgeous day. This episode is going to be available on Saturday, which is also supposed to be a gorgeous day. Hopefully we will be sitting on the beach, or I will be. My kids will be in the water with my husband. But today's a pretty nice day. I think it might get rainy later, but today's a pretty nice day. So we're going to jump right in. I'd like to tell you what we're doing, but I'm kind of going to make this one up as we go along. I have a plan for the end, but not so much for the beginning, but it's kind of coming together in my head since I know what I want to do at the end. I know what we need to work up to in the beginning. So if you are not working on a yoga mat, you're going to need a mat at the end. If you are fortunate enough to have more than one mat in your house, you might want to go grab the other one and roll it up nice and tight, and then see, like I have another orange one right there waiting for the end. If you only have the one you're working on, that's fine too. You can stop and roll that one up later, but we're going to use that as a prop at the end to do some just gentle therapeutic back bending, which is going to feel really nice. So what we're going to work up to is a little bit of gentle back bending. And the way we're going to do that is by opening our shoulders and opening our front body, which is our chest area. So I do have a plan. It's just more in my head than anything else right now, but that's kind of how I teach most of my classes. So lie down and get comfy on your back. Same as always. I like the comfort of starting my classes the same way. I hope you do too. I've been teaching for so long, and I change up things as I go, but I like to keep the beginning kind of reliable, kind of something that people who take class with me can count on, right? I don't know. I like that. So, gosh, we were at the beach yesterday. It was another gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. Stingrays were abundant in the water, and the water was the most beautiful I've ever seen Jersey Shore water in my whole life. It was clear with like a bluish green tint, and it was warm. It's like almost 78 degrees now, and the waves were perfect, kind of like rolling and lovely and not killing your soul kind of waves. But Mike and the boys and I went down, and we met my best friend and one of her daughters, and we just had such a lovely day. The Jersey Shore is really coming through this year as a highlight of our summer. It gives us something to look forward to, and it's always just a really nice day. We've been trying to go twice a week, and I think the kids would revolt if we changed our plan, because they're coming to look, they look forward to it too. You know, like there's not a lot in the outside world right now that we can look forward to, but we can get in our car and drive down the parkway, and it's been so good for us. So hopefully you have something like that too, that you've kind of set aside as like your special time that you look forward to. I hope, right? We all need that. So if you're not laying on your back, lay on your back. Arms out, palms up. Got out and got my walk in early again this morning because Cam's doing some summer school stuff, and I have to be able to be available to him, like basically in the same room sitting with him from 8:30 to 12:30. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That's what happens when I wake up at 6:30 for walking. So I have to get out and walk early and get back by like 8:20. And if I put it off, it's just too hot later in the day, and it doesn't really cool down at night. There's no good time to go. But I walked outside this morning and I didn't feel the humidity right away, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is better. This is where things are getting better. No. Within 5 minutes, it was like a wall that smacked me in the face. But it's nice when it's done. So feel the heaviness of your body here on the ground, right? Feel yourself really connect with your mat, with your carpet, with your hardwood floor, with your tile, whatever you're lying on. feel yourself connect. Feel the heaviness of your body. I was playing around with push-ups earlier today, and getting some advice from a friend who is kind of a workout monster. And I didn't unroll my mat. I was just doing them on the carpet in here. And when I do my Tabata stuff, I unroll my mat. So I guess I haven't done anything on just the carpet in a really long time. And it was shocking to me how different it felt just to not have this little thin layer, this little 15 millimeter, layer of rubber in between me and the carpet. It felt really awful. So I appreciate how I feel, how heavy I feel when I'm on the mat and the contact I can make with the ground through the mat, but having this little tiny bit of cushion between me makes a big difference. Let your feet open up towards the sides of the room. Move your arms way out so that you're in the big T position, palms up. And then find your breath, right? Always find your breath. Inhale. Hold it for a couple counts, and then slowly exhale. And find a little rhythm, right? Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to breathe for just about a minute, consciously. And then we're going to start to move. So, close your eyes if they're not. I'm sorry. I'm not tired. The heat just sucks the life out of you, right? Like it literally just sucks the life out of you. So, we're breathing. Eyes are closed. Body is relaxed. Everything is melting down towards the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Keep going. One more inhale. And exhale. I'm going to lie down and twist with you. Pause, because it just always feels really good, and I want to. Okay, so arms out, palms up, knees in. Let's drop our legs over to the right. Let them settle. Pay attention to the left arm. Get the legs down first, then get the left arm down from the shoulder blade out through the fingertips. And again, find your breath. When you're in a twisted position, it might not be so smooth, the inhale and the exhale. So breathe enough times that you get used to the position you're in and it becomes smooth. Knees up to center. Now we're going to drop them over to our left. Arms are going to stay out. Legs settle first, and then you focus on the right arm. Make sure that it's really snuggled down into the ground. I don't know if you can see my right hand, but sometimes when people let their arms go, they sacrifice what the upper body's doing. So sometimes I'll see people with their arm up like this. And that not only looks so uncomfortable, but it's really not good for your muscle structure. So even if it means you have to loosen the twist and bring the legs lower down towards the bottom of your mat, you want your arm to be as out flat as it can be. If you need to bend your elbow a little or raise the arm a little or even lower it a little bit, whatever you need to do, but getting the arm out flat is the safest thing to do for your shoulder girdle. You don't want to hurt yourself doing a pose, trying to do one thing and then sacrificing something else, you know? Knees up to center. We're going to come into happy baby, or one hand on each kneecap. So you decide, reach for your pose, find your movement. I have the biggest blister. I don't think you can see it, but it's almost like the whole tip of my big toe. And I'm not, I mean, I know how I got it, but yesterday on the beach, I realized I had it. So I was playing with it and I popped it, and then I got sand in it, and then I had to clean it out. Just a giant mess. I need to just learn to leave things alone. That's the moral of my story. So now it's covered in bacitracin. Okay, feet to the floor. Let's tower the knees and bring the arms into cactus. So now if you look at my arms, they're not straight out, but they're still flat on the ground. There's no part of my arm or the back of my hand that's bubbling up. Everything is flat on the ground. So if that's tricky for you, go wider, or even wider still, whatever you need to do to get the whole back of your arm down on the ground. And my understanding of this is that if you have a hard time getting the back of the arm down, or maybe the wrist is up or something like that, it's just because your shoulders are tight. And that's what we're going to play with a little bit today. We're going to play with opening the shoulders and opening the heart center, the chest, because the back bend that we're going to do using our mat as a prop is just a big heart opener. And we want to go into it a little bit prepared and a little bit warm. Let's cross the left over the right, and we're just going to do ankle circles. See if you can get a nice crack. I just got one. And then go in the other direction. Perfect. Let's do right over left, same thing. Choose a direction. Go in that direction to start. And then switch it up. All right, tower the legs again. Arms are still in cactus. We're trying to just gently encourage the shoulders to soften and open without having to put too much effort into it right now. Now we are going to hug our knees in. I like to cross at the ankle. I can't explain why. And we're just going to rock up and come over onto hands and knees, right? It's about time for that. Fingers spread nice and wide, palms flat, hands in the front corner of the mat. We're going to start to cat and cow. Coordinated my hat with my mat today. No, I didn't. I didn't on purpose. I just grabbed this cap, and this is my mat that I like to use. No matching is intentional, I promise you that. That's why I wear so much black, because I don't have to think about matching things. One or two more. Being aggressive with this, right? Trying to really create some space and lengthen from the crown of the head out through the tailbone. All right, so for our first little shoulder opener here, we're just going to come down into Sphinx. Take a look at your hands. You want the same distance between your elbows that you have between your wrists. Thumbs are going in towards one another. Fingers are spread nice and wide. And then we're just going to start to lean our hips back, but we're going to glue our forearms and our palms down to the mat. We don't want anything to move. We just want to bring our shoulder blades on and off our back a little. So you're just gently going to go forward and backwards, not allowing the hands to start to creep in towards one another. You want them to stay as spaced out as your elbows. Okay, next, we're going to plant our hands for just a second, right? And then we're going to turn our fingers in towards one another. So our elbow creases are facing in towards our body. Our elbows are out towards the side, and we can bend them out if we want to, but we don't want to yet. So we're going to press into the mat and start to lean back a little bit. Keep the pinky toe side of the hand down. Come on up. Now we're going to turn our hands even more in towards us. So this is kind of an abnormal position, right? But we want to press down through the palm of the hand, the heel of the hand especially, and start to lean back, getting a really big stretch in this front forearm area where a lot of people get super tight from working on a keyboard all day or writing over a desk or, you know, whatever work causes you to do. People get very tight in that area. Lean your hips back. That's how you control the intensity of the stretch here, by how far you lean your hips back. Come on up. Go into your cat and cow. Okay, so next up, we're going to come into thread the needle. You are going to keep your left hand down on the ground. Right arm is going to come up. We're going to swing up and open with the right arm, and then we're going to bring it down and under with the palm facing up. We want to come down onto our right temple, our right ear, somewhere on this side of the head. So arm slides out and you come down. Come on up. Sometimes in that pose we'll take a wrap with the arm that's down on the ground and we'll reach it around our back for our opposite kidney, but we're not so much focusing on moving the shoulder blades on and off the back today as we are just lengthening in the shoulder socket and putting space in there. So today I want you to just keep that arm down for support and focus on the arm that's extended through, the thread of the thread the needle, if you will. So now we're going to come down onto the right. Right hand stays down. Left arm is going to reach up, 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 and then come down. Come on up. Let's find our cat and cow. now we're going to go into a wide knee child's pose. So big toes together, knees out to the sides. Can't go down because of my hat. Hips are pressing back so that you can lengthen the spine, but you're trying to keep the shoulders and the forearms, wherever they are, anchored so that you're lengthening, you're not pulling or dragging. All right, come on up into hands and knees. Let's go up into downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, lift the hips, drop the heels, move around, bounce this out, do whatever you need to do to make this feel good, or to make yourself feel good in your own body at least. From here, we're going to inchworm to the back of our mat. And hang forward. You can cross at the elbows, or you can just really release your fingertips to the floor, whatever feels best. Big breath in, and on the exhale start to roll up, coming all the way up to stand, head being the last thing up to center. Okay, so simple shoulder openers that we've done probably 1,000,000 times, or at least, what class is this, 34? I'm going to say at least 28 times. Right hand to right shoulder, left hand to left elbow, just push in. This is a nice one because you can control how big of a stretch it is by using your own body weight, right? And then flip it up. And this changes the stretch. It changes the muscles that you're stretching. That feels good. And then release and switch sides. So left hand to right shoulder. And then switch it up. I'm so dry. My skin is so dry right now. I don't feel like there's ever a season where I'm not super dry, but I think the salt air and the ocean and the sun are really sucking the moisture out of my skin. So when I get out of the shower, I've been trying to put on this after sun lotion I have that has aloe and a bunch of vitamins in it, or I just use straight up coconut oil, which is what I did today. And it smells, my shoulders smell like a cookie, but I'm a little slick and I don't like that when I practice yoga. So I guess that's why I'm always dry, because I always choose not to slide all over the place on my mat. I'm going to turn my mat And we're just going to go through a little sequence that will open the shoulder, help us to lengthen out from the underarm area through the fingertips, and then also open up our side bodies, which are going to feel more comfortable in our supported back bend at the end if we've already created some space in there. So we're going to come into the middle of our mat. Feet are hip width apart. It doesn't really matter right now, but we're just going to say hip width apart. We're going to step out to the left with our left foot and point our toes out. We're going to step behind us with the right foot and angle the foot out to the side so that we're coming into a warrior stance, but maybe a shorter than typical warrior stance. For me, it is. I don't know if it is for you. You're going to face over the front leg, turn the hips forward, bend into the front knee, bend into the back knee, and bring the arms up. Find some deep breaths here. Open up into your warrior two. So to open from warrior one to warrior two, if you're not familiar, warrior one, hips are facing over the front leg. Warrior two, hips are facing out to the side. So the leg doesn't move, neither leg moves, but the upper body from the hips up just changes from front to side. And then the arms come out and you look over the middle finger of the front hand. Find your breath. Try not to lean into your pose. You want to sit up as straight and tall in the pelvic girdle as you can. So you don't want to be leaning forward into the pose. Now we're going to shift from here. We're going to keep the feet where they are, straighten the front knee. Actually, no, not straighten the front knee yet. Keep the front knee bent, arms out. We're going to bring the front elbow to the front knee. The back arm is going to come up and over. So it's a long angle from the outside edge of the back foot through the fingertips of this top hand. Extended side angle pose. Reach, 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 reach. And then come on up, warrior two, and release it all back to the middle. So from here, we're gonna forward bend, release the neck, release the shoulders, release the spine, and just hang forward. Flat back and release. Flat back and release. Flat back and release. Arms are going to come out, 90-degree angle like you're holding a beach ball. And then all the way up and release. So now we're going to turn the toes on the right foot to face forward. Angle the back leg however you need it for your warrior. Turn your hips over the front knee. Bend the front knee, bend the back knee a little, and arms up. Warrior one. Into warrior two, just turning the hips, right? And opening up the arms. Now, front elbow to front knee, back arm all the way up and over, extended side angle. And come on up, warrior two, and back to the center. for another big forward bend. Arms out in front, 90-degree angle, beach ball. Come all the way up. Nice. So grab your little blanket or towel, whatever it is that you like to sit up on when we're doing seated poses. Grab that, put it down, and have a seat. Come wide. Right, come into an extended, wide-legged pose. So let's just start to circle our torso in our hip socket. Can you ask him to quiet that? Sorry, iPad got a little too loud in the other room. Circle in your hips here. Like you're stirring a bowl of something. And then go in the other direction. Nice. You could almost make yourself seasick if you did this enough, right? So come to center, and we're just going to walk right out with our hands, coming down to where we're comfortable. Walk up. Let's walk over towards the right leg. And we're going to make this into a shoulder opener. Normally this would be hamstrings, back of the knee, back of the calf, and Achilles, and even your arch of your foot. But we're going to make this a shoulder opener by how we move the top arm. So your right hand, your right arm can go anywhere along the inside of the foot, the outside of the foot. You can even come down to rest on the forearm on the outside of the foot, whatever feels best. I like to hold the arch of my foot, okay? So that's the right arm. That's gonna be the arm that pulls you into the pose. The left arm is gonna come up and over, just like it did for the extended side angle that we did a few minutes ago. Same upper arm structure, same upper body positioning. Arm is gonna come up and over, reaching across the room for the corner in the, to your far right, but keep the back of the left hip planted and down on the ground. And then come on up. Same thing on the other side. So now the left arm, left hand is going to hold anywhere on the outside of the leg, inside of the leg, down on the forearm. It's the right arm that we're trying to focus on and stretch and create space in that hip socket. So I'm going to reach for the arch of my left foot. You go for whatever's comfortable. And then my right arm is going to go up and over, lengthening out with the back of the right hip staying down on the ground. And then coming up. All right, so here is where you need to roll up your mat. So if you have another mat, grab it and roll it nice and tight. If you don't have another mat, get up off the one you're sitting on and roll that one up nice and tight. The one I use to practice is actually so worn and soft and floppy and thin, it doesn't roll up nice, so it's not a good one for that. But luckily, I'm a yoga teacher and I have a lot of mats all the time. So grab a mat, roll it up. I'm gonna give you a second, okay? We're going to do two different things with this. We're going to start with a more gentle version of a supported back bend, and then we're going to go into a slightly bigger version of a supported back bend. And if the slightly bigger one is too much for you, then you are more than welcome to go back to the gentle one. But these are poses of surrender. They're therapeutic yoga poses, and they're poses that are really just meant for you to find your breath, soften into the pose, and just take a couple minutes to allow the whole thing to happen, right? There's not a lot of effort to be done in these. In fact, if you effort into the pose, you're not going to soften into the pose, and then it's going to be kind of a moot point. So do your best to just breathe, even if it's slightly uncomfortable at first. Give it a chance. Okay, so the first variation, everyone's got their mat rolled up, right? I'm going to put my back to you so that I can show you how to position this. I'm going to take my rolled up mat and I'm going to put it right at the bottom of my tailbone. Just like that. I'm pushing it in so there's no gap. And then I'm going to roll down over it. I should have just enough mat to support my head. And I'm going to bring my arms out into the big T. And if this is a lot for you, keep your knees bent. That'll help a little. If you're fine, bring your legs out long in front of you and find your breath. Depending on what mat you have or how thick or thin it is. My mats, I tend to like thin mats. I like the little bit of cushion, but I also like to really feel the ground. So my mats are fairly thin. If you have a thick one, then this might be a bigger back bend for you, in which case you might just want to roll up half your mat and just use half the rolled mat. You decide what's going to feel best. But just understand that this isn't super comfortable at the very beginning for anyone. You feel it right in your shoulder blades, and you might even feel it a little bit in the front of your underarm area where your arms are hanging. But again, just like in the beginning when we did the twists and I talked about how important it was to get the arms fully supported down on the ground, same thing here. You want the arms fully down on the ground. Try really hard to concentrate on your inhales and your exhales and try to make them the same length. You don't want to take a long inhale and then just a quick short exhale. You want to be in control of both parts of your breath. So a long, even inhale and then an equally long and conscientious exhale. Another minute or so here, and then we're going to go into the second part of this pose, which is going to feel a little bit different. It's going to target a slightly different part of your chest, your heart. Okay, so it may be easier for you to go to the side and then push up. It may be easier for you to just push up from a seated position. Whatever feels best, come on out of this, but don't let your mat unroll, okay? Keep your mat rolled and pretty much stay in the position you're in. So next, you are going to turn the mat this way, and you want to lay over the mat, and when you come into the big T, you want the mat to be underneath your armpits. You want it to be underneath and going straight across. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to figure it out as I go. That seems about right. My head's going to go to the ground. My arms are going to go out. This is a huge opener right in here. You can't miss this one. And again, if this is too much of a back bend for you, bend up your knees and tower them in towards one another. That helps to take a little bit of the back bend out of your low back, and it may make it a slightly more comfortable pose for you if you're struggling with this just a little bit. Also, a really good pose for anyone, like I said earlier, that's always over a keyboard, over a laptop, over an iPad, even just over your phone. It sort of turns you inside out in the opposite direction. And it's challenging, but it feels really good, and it's honestly very necessary. One or two more deep breaths in, inhaling and exhaling. I just got such a good back rock just by moving my hands. That makes the whole thing worth it. Okay, come on up to a comfortable seated position. And you guys are gonna lie right back down, coming into your Shavasana. That's a big, it's a deceivingly big back bend, right? Because your mat's not that huge. If you were to do bridge or wheel or anything else lying on your back, it would appear to be a much bigger back bend. But because this is almost a forced back bend, it's powerful, right? I hope it feels good. I hope it felt good after a couple nice deep breaths. And I hope your back now is kind of feeling like it had a little work done, a little adjustment. That's always a bonus in yoga, right? When you walk away feeling like you had a little massage. Close your eyes. Find your breath, which we've done a lot of in this session, in this class. So that shouldn't be so hard for you to do right now. Let your mind wander. Appreciate how your body's feeling right now. Thank yourself for taking the time to take the class. Give yourself a little bit of self-care. Even though it's boiling hot outside, you still have to move, right? Always have to move. I think when you stop moving, that's when you die. That's kind of my mindset. Always have to move. push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. So either go to the right and come up, or rock up to sit. Find a comfortable position. This is my comfy one for today, my S pose. Hands come to your heart in prayer. We're going to take a deep breath in. Release the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Namaste. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me for another class. Number 34. I can't even believe it. Number 34. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you again soon. If I don't see you pounding the pavement out there on Ridge Road, I will see you virtually. Take care. Bye.